Roose Bolton is a special kind of antagonist in the story. He's been creeping in the background for all 5 books now, somewhere between Tywin and Ramsay's level of evil. Most characters just found him unsettling, but few who got to know him come to know someone much darker. The first 2 books set up a strange yet competent character who leads half of the North's army for Robb. The Boltons are historically known to be the Stark's rivals in the North, having to put down a few of their rebellions. Their other reputation was flaying their enemies alive and wearing their skin as cloaks. From the moment George R.R. Martin introduced Roose's character, we were made to believe he's a dangerous man. Robb was scared shitless of him in their first war council, where all he did was stare at Robb with his infamous ice-cold, pale grey eyes. Despite fearing him, Robb gives him half the North's men, and was instantly one of his most valuable advisors against the Lannisters. The second book is where we get a slightly closer look at the mysterious and cautious Roose. Arya becomes his cupbearer while hiding her true identity in Harrenhal. She knew he was a noble from her homeland, but decided to not share her true identity with him. The show swapped this story arc with Tywin, which actually paid off big time, since it became one of the more memorable humanizing character moments for Tywin, who previously had only been seen as a power-hungry jerk-off. But since Roose was replaced by Tywin, we missed out on the origins of the Lord of Leeches. In the middle of a very secretive meeting between the Freys and Roose in Harrenhal, where hints at a betrayal are first dropped, Arya in disguise is tasked with removing large pale leeches off a naked Lord Roose Bolton. He isn't sick or anything, he just believes that frequent leechings are the secret of a long life. A man must purge himself of bad blood. Leeches clung to the inside of his arms and legs and dotted his pallid chest, long translucent things that turned a glistening pink as they fed. Bolton paid them no more mind than they did Arya. That's where the whole epithet came from. Multiple characters, highborn and low throughout the 5 books, refer to him as the Leech Lord, or something similar. Characters get a little creative with this nickname here and there. In one chapter, he's the Leech Lord, in another, it's Lord Leech, and sometimes it's the Lord of Leeches. This was just a way to add a level of creepiness to the soft-spoken Roose, a voice made for lies and whispers. But the line about extending his life was a huge fan discussion back in the day. His strange eyes, intelligence, calm demeanor, a family tradition of wearing skin, and now leeching for a longer lifespan, made some readers think Roose wasn't an ordinary man at all. Something more fantastical like a type of vampire, which are rumored to exist in this world. I don't buy into these theories though. Roose is just a self-centered asshole, hungry for more power. A minor character in the North said it best during Ramsay's wedding in Winterfell. Lady Barbar Dustin had been close to the Boltons for years. Her sister was actually Roose's second wife. In the 5th book, where the Leech Lord gets a ton of characterization since being absent in the story ever since the Red Wedding, Barbar tells the broken Theon Greyjoy, "Watch him. Watch how he watches Manderly. No dish so much as touches Roose's lips until he sees Lord Wyman eat it first. No cup of wine is sipped until he sees Manderly drink of the same cask. I think he would be pleased if the fat man attempted some betrayal. It would amuse him. Roose has no feelings, you see. Those leeches that he loves so well sucked all the passions out of him years ago. He does not love, he does not hate, he does not grieve. This is a game to him, mildly diverting. Some men hunt, some hawk, some tumble dice. Roose plays with men. You and me, these Freys, Lord Manderly, his plump new wife, even his bastard. We're all but his playthings." A serving man was passing by. Lady Dustin held out her wine cup and let him fill it, then gestured for him to do the same for Theon. "Truth be told," she said, "Lord Bolton aspires more than mere lordship. Why not King of the North?" Roose strangely doesn't hide his true dark nature. Barbar looked over Roose's only true-born son Domeric for years since he served her house. Domeric, Roose's heir, died right before the first book began. Everyone knows it was Roose's bastard Ramsay behind the death, but Roose doesn't care. In their very first encounter, Roose coldly shows his true colors to Theon. He's become more brave now that the Starks are gone. "Has my bastard ever told you how I got him? You met his mother whilst out riding and were smitten by her beauty." "Smitten," Bolton laughed. "Did he use that word? Why, the boy has a singer's soul. Though if you believe that song, you may as well be dimmer than the first reek. Even the writing part is wrong. I was hunting a fox along the Weeping River when I chanced upon a mill and saw a young woman washing clothes in the stream. The old miller had got himself a new young wife, a girl not half his age. She was a tall, willowy creature, very healthy looking. Long legs and small firm breasts like 2 ripe plums. Pretty in a common sort of way. The moment that I set eyes on her, I wanted her. Such was my due. The maesters will tell you that King Jaehaerys abolished the Lord's right to the first night to appease his shrewish queen. But where the old gods rule, old customs linger. The Umbers keep the first night too, deny it as they may. certain of the mountain clans as well, and on Skagos, well, only hard trees ever see half of what they do on Skagos. The miller's marriage had been performed without my leave or my knowledge. The man had cheated me, so I had him hanged, and claimed my rights beneath the tree where he was swaying. If truth be told, the winch was hardly worth the rope. Some evil stuff that he openly admits to. Something he would never do when Ned Stark or even their Lord Father was around. Roose is not afraid to admit that he fears some of the other great houses in the north. Something Ramsay doesn't understand. That young woman he raped became pregnant and showed up to his castle a year later with a baby. Roose considered having the mother whipped and thrown her child down a well, but it had his strange eyes. He gave her ownership of the mill where he killed her husband, and removed the tongue of anyone who knew he still practiced the first night. Each year he sent the woman some piglets and chickens and a bag of stars, on the understanding that she was never to tell the boy who had fathered him. A peaceful land, a quiet people, that has always been how Roose ruled over his land. The woman disobeyed him though. Roose got a nasty taste of karma for messing with that Miller family. His bastard Ramsay was growing up wild and unruly, so his mother demanded a servant to help care for him. And in Leech Lord fashion, he gave her a servant that would amuse him, one no one could stand to be around, a man named Reek, who had that pretty tragic condition where you smell unbearable no matter how hygienic you are. Roose, the mother, and Reek created the perfect monster, Ramsay. Neglected, hateful, and cruel, a true sadistic character. Roose forbade Domric from ever visiting Ramsay after finding out he had a younger brother. Domric went to the mill anyways, and shortly after died. Roose and Barbar suspect it was poison. With no other heir, Ramsay Snow was brought to the Dreadfort and finally acknowledged by Roose. But still, Roose treats his bastard poorly. The men who accompany Ramsay are all spies working for Roose, and he constantly reminds Ramsay that he is just a bastard. An insult that particularly drives Ramsay mad, and Roose knows it. Ramsay kills anyone who mutters those words. Ramsay disgusts Roose and doesn't pass up a moment to put him back in place when his confidence gets out of control. He once famously said, "There are times you make me wonder if you are truly my seed." He doesn't like how much attention Ramsay is bringing House Bolton. Tales are quickly spreading about his cruelty and torture methods. Roose hears them everywhere as of late. No tales are told to Roose, however, not until the Red Wedding. He believes he wouldn't have made it this far in the Game of Thrones if rumors were spread about him. He allows Ramsay his fun for now, just asks him to be more discreet. On to his third marriage now with Walder Frey. Incapable of love, he picks this Frey because she weighed the most. Lord Walder Frey offered any of his daughters or granddaughters weight in gold during the selection process. Roose just went with the logical choice and the fattest one of them all. He finds her amusing for now, but knows every one of their sons will be killed by Ramsay, just like Domric. Roose insanely thinks it's for the best though. He says that he won't live long enough to see his new sons to manhood, and boy lords are the bane of any house. A major target is on his back now after being one of the masterminds behind the Red Wedding. Lord Leech loves to work in the shadows, but believed a betrayal this massive in scale was best for his own survival and status. So many northern houses lost family members that night, and now he has to expect them to loyally follow him as the new warden of the north, while giving the Stark's old home to his now legitimized son. So Ramsay will remain his heir, as unhappy as that makes his father. I know, Lord Bolton sighed. His blood is bad. He needs to be leeched. The leeches suck away the bad blood, all the rage and pain. No man can think so full of rage. Ramsay though, his tainted blood would poison even leeches, I fear.